Hey guys, we're back with another episode discussing angles. Today we're going to be looking at the angles in a polygon, and as usual we're going to need to do a description. We're going to describe what exactly a polygon is, and this will help us in discovering what the angles are. Oh, and by the way guys, I just thought I'd mention something that's come to my attention recently. It looks like the number of subs that I have coming to the channel every day, the number of new subs, has sharply decreased. Because recently it was somewhere about 5 to 10 subs per day, and then all of a sudden it went down to 0 for quite a long time. So I get the feeling that the algorithm is stealing my subs, taking them away. So if you subbed before, just like you to just double check you're still subscribed, and also hit the notification button. I'm going to put this message probably on the next few videos, because I get the feeling people who are subbed don't realize they've probably been unsubbed, because the algorithm sometimes doesn't trust the subscriptions and thinks that they might be full subscriptions. So just have a look and see if you're subbed still. Thanks. So back to our question: what is a polygon? Well, the simple description of a polygon is a two-dimensional shape that is made up of edges joined one end to the other. So two-dimensional shape is a flat shape, and you have several edges. Each edge is joined to another edge at one end and at the other end. So there's some very specific important rules that exist when it comes to a polygon. For instance, let's say we had two edges. What happens if we try to join these two edges? Well, you can see what happens. When you join just two edges, one side of the edge is not joined to anything else. But in a polygon, both sides of the edges, both ends of the edges, must be joined to another edge. Now, whichever way you do this, when you join two edges together, when you only have two edges, there's always going to be one side of each edge that is not attached to any other edge. So this can't be a polygon, and as you can see, it's not a real shape. So that means you have to add another edge, a third edge, in order for you to join all edges together. Now you can join the three edges to another edge, and there you have it, your first shape. What that means is that any polygon must have at least three edges. If it has two edges, it's not a polygon. If it has three or more edges, then it's a polygon. This information will be important to us later on. Well, I suppose a few of you by now may have realized that a polygon is something we've already looked at. For instance, a triangle is a polygon, obviously, because it has three edges, and on the three edges, each side of the edge is joined to another edge. And that's the same with a quadrilateral. Each side of each edge is joined to another edge. So essentially, triangles, squares, and any kind of polygon where one edge is joined to another, any kind of shape where one edge is joined to another, is a polygon. And I guess the list of them are endless. Maybe you know of pentagon, which I think has 5 edges, a hexagon, octagon that has 8 edges, and I suppose it goes on forever. We're going to deal with some of the smaller, more well-known polygons in this video. We're going to try and discover how we can know what angles are in a polygon. Just a quick note, the polygons that you're looking at here are actually called regular polygons. What that means is that all the length of each side, is the same. So in the pentagon, the one on the red one, all of those 5 edges are the same size. In the hexagon, which has 6 sides, all of the lengths are the same size. And in the octagon in the middle, all of the lengths of each side or each edge is the same. What that means is that all the angles inside the shapes are of equal size, just like the equilateral triangle and just like a square. So an equilateral triangle, which has degrees of 60 inside all of its angles, and a square which has angles of 90, they're all regular polygons as well. But on top of that, there are also irregular polygons which don't have the edges that are the same size. So today we're going to look at irregular polygons. Okay guys, here we go. Now first of all, I want you to don't want you to get distracted by this shape, so let's cover that. I want you to take a look at this quadrilateral 4-sided shape. Yes, the sides are a different length, but what can we say about this? Well, you'll probably remember from the last video that in order to discover how many degrees this quadrilateral has, in other words 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, all of the sum of all these degrees, what they add up to in a quadrilateral, we were able to take any corner of a quadrilateral, take any point or in the middle of any angle, and then what we needed to do was to draw a line to a specific angle. So let's take this one for example. Let's take this angle here. If you draw a line to another angle, I call it through another angle. So if you're going to draw a line, don't draw along an edge. See, because here you can draw along an edge, that doesn't help. You could draw along an edge here as well. We don't want you to do that. What I want you to do is go to an angle not via an edge, which means you've got to go through the shape. If you do that, you will create a triangle. So you will create not just one triangle, you create 2 or more triangles. If you do this in a square, you draw a line through an angle, it creates 2 triangles. And you know that each of these triangles contains 180 degrees. The angle, all these angles, this angle here, that angle there, that angle there, adds up to 180 degrees. That angle there, that angle there, and that angle there adds up to 180 degrees also. You could, if you wanted to, you could choose another corner or another angle from which to start. You could start from that angle, and again, you can't go along an edge, so you have to go like this through to another angle. And there you go. Again, although it's a different place, it produces 2 different triangles, one here and one here. Same thing applies. You have 180 degrees and 180 degrees because you have 2 triangles, so that you know the sum of all the angles in this has to be 360 degrees, and we learned that in the last video. But now we're going to move on to polygons, which, although they include triangles and squares and quadrilaterals, as we saw in the previous video, there are polygons that don't have those shapes. There are many polygons. So let's take this one here. What if I said to you, how many, or what is the sum of all the angles? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 angles. What is the sum of all the angles in this shape here? This it's not a regular polygon, it's an irregular polygon, because there are let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think it's 7 sides to this. How on earth could you find out what the sum of all the same 7 angles added together are? Well, we could use the method I've just talked about. Pick any angle. You can pick any angle you want. Let's pick this one. Then you start to go along. You draw a line through another angle. Now notice we can't go this way because we're going along an edge. As long as you don't go along an edge, you can go through an angle. So from here, let's go through this angle. Now ask yourself, after you've done that, can you do more? Well, yes you can. You can do another one. Again, ask yourself, can you do any more? Yes, I think you can. You can do another one. Again, ask yourself, can you do any more? You can't do this one because this follows the edge, but that one, oops, oh god, my drawing's terrible, sorry, excuse me. Now, if you look carefully, this contains several triangles. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles. We know that the internal angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So A plus B plus C equals 180 degrees. We know that. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles all stuck together. What that means is that this particular shape with 7 sides contains 5 times 180. That's 5 times 180 degrees. So sorry, I've got to use long multiple 180, 90, right. So this contains 900 degrees. Let me make sure I've got that right. 10 times is 1800. Exactly, right. So getting a little bit confused there. So we took our point here, any point. You could have done this from any angle. Then you draw lines through angles in a different place on the shape, but you avoid going through the edge. What this has caused is for us to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles. Each of these triangles contains 180 degrees, so 5 times 180 gives us 900. So this means that this particular polygon, irregular polygon, has 900 degrees. Now, isn't that easy? That's easy to do. Now, I'm not going to discuss in this video why that works, but I can perhaps do so in a later video. Okay guys, I decided to cut the video short there because it's getting really long. I'm trying to keep the videos at around 10 minutes because then they end up being really long if I don't keep an eye on things. What we'll do in the next video, I'm gonna present one more example, and then one more example of how to determine what the sum of all angles in a polygon is, and then on top of that we'll do a few worked examples that you might come across in tests and exam to help you find missing angles, but that will be in the next video. So until then.